Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet. Today we have our technical assistance session for Apprenticeship Illinois for all of our grantees. On the screen right now, I have some the apprenticeship dashboard up along with a bunch of other screens that I'm going to close down here. We can go to production, but I do not record production questions. So if it is something that I can show you in test, that's wonderful. Otherwise, we can answer all of those questions and then go to production if we need to. So I don't have any specific news right now. We do have a change coming for the navigator tools to connect with Dun & Bradstreet for selecting organizations. So that will help you get the right information in. Our programmer is working on that. And we hope to have something ready and available for the admin team to look at on Monday and try and test to make sure. And then hopefully next week we have something to show you. So that will be new and exciting. Yay. All right. Any questions from anyone? I did solve a access problem for somebody from Hire 360. So if you are not able to access your tools, we do need to check your accounts to make sure that you're using the same one that we think that you're supposed to be using. And if you do need someone from your organization has access to user management tools. So if people need to be added or removed from access to the IWIS system, we do have somebody from each organization that can do that.
Good afternoon, everyone. So Dee, I did have a question.
Sure.
So I have a candidate that took part in last year cohort. She dropped, okay? So she was put into Illinois WorkNet. She came back on this cohort in 2022, completed the our 8 weeks. My question is, would I basically do all the services, like open new services?
That's a good question. She dropped out before. Did you close her out of the system or did you just close out her services?
So the only service that she had at the time was the IEP because she dropped right after.
So if you did not actually exit her or discharge her, you could probably start back up with her.
Okay.
That would definitely be a chase confirmation, or
okay.
Unless you're going to be using the balance of 2019 grant funds. But I thought you guys ended at 12/31 for your 2019 grant.
Yeah, I know some were extended until June, but I'm not 100% sure on each case. But I mean, yeah, are you planning on using the 2019 funds, or are you going to use it for 2021 funds?
They're receiving services under 2021 now because they've now received our full cohort under 2021. So my thought is we should use this funding from 2021 for this candidate, right?
Yeah, I think that would make sense to me.
So should we just open up should we just make a new IEP service for I think it would be January for this candidate, and then successive training and OJT and everything like that just like the other candidates in the cohort?
My thought would be is you add a new service for that IEP. So like right here, we've got the development of an IEP.
Yep.
Close out the one from last year.
Okay.
Add a new service for this year. The challenge will be for the new the new 21 grantees, we're changing the enrollment process to enable grant selection, like which grant they're being enrolled within. So we'll have to update that one on the back end so that they'll count toward this year's performance.
Understood. So maybe we can send you a note once we finish with that.
Keep it in mind so that when I actually demonstrate that update, then you'll send me the note then.
Got it.
Okay.
A quick question for Victoria and Mike. What was the start date for DOL Rapids for that person?
They did not start a DOL Rapids because that's something we don't do until they've completed our training.
Okay,
program.
okay, good. Because say if it was a certain date, you wouldn't be able to use the new fund, so.
No,
Okay.
yeah, so that person just got an IEP, were assessed, and then decided not to continue with the program.
Okay,
At that time, they knew they wanted to come back, but they couldn't pursue it at that time.
Good question, JJ. And then JJ has a question typed into the chat. Do intermediaries use the Navigator tools for quarterly reports, or is that still in production? So right now, JJ, the reports, oops, let me go back to, this is the groups page. The work plan and reports are in a separate tab from the Navigator tools. So when you are trying to do your quarterly reporting, the data will pull from whatever customers and whatever data you've entered for the customers into the system. So if you've entered OII people under the reporting, it will pull from there. If you've entered case managed people into the system for career plans, et cetera, it will pull from there. But for the narrative, you will click on whatever Navigator you're doing. You'll click on the project. And then down at the bottom, down here, it says quarterly narrative updates. You'll add your narrative and it will default to the most recent completed period. So for example, quarter ending March 31 will be the only one that you'll be able to actually submit, because it doesn't do any good to submit Q December or Q September, because those reports have already been submitted to WIPS. And then you'll put all of your narrative information in here. It needs to include all of these items. So if you have not already submitted your success stories, you still have time to do that. If you need to put this in Word and type it and make sure that everything is spell checked, you can do that and then just copy and paste into the narrative updates box. So does that answer your question, JJ?
yeah, I've done that part, but I was also wanting to know, like, in the old one where we had the spreadsheet and we put in like the number of businesses or organizations we contacted, there wasn't a place to put that.
There, okay, so those numbers on your plan, on your, sorry, wrong place. For capacity building, those numbers are added in here. And those are primarily for the navigators that are doing their navigator thing. Chase, how do you want the intermediaries to address this information, or do they need to?
That will be something I'll have to talk with Patrick or John about, because I'm not sure how they're going to be putting in their numbers like that exactly in here.
Yeah, because I was wondering when I looked at this screen, it had our projections, but it didn't have a place to put what we've actually done so far.
And those items are going to be added through the navigator tools, that those actions will be added and then they'll be pulled in, and all of that will show in the dashboard once that's completed. But the biggest question that Chase needs to confirm is, are you required to put in your business outreach information as an intermediary? Would you agree with that, JJ?
Yeah, I guess.
And then do we no longer report item by item on our work plans like we did in the last grant?
What do you mean?
On the last grant, we had the project work plan spreadsheet that had all the activities. And then each quarter we'd update activity by activity, what we've done on that activity. And so on this one, is it getting condensed into one narrative update, or should we be listing out each activity in our work plan and then adding a narrative?
These are the things that need to be submitted in the narrative. So a summary of your grant activities, progress toward grant goals.
Mhm.
You can read, I don't need to read them
Yeah.
all for you.
I guess what I'm asking is this indicating like a change that it's a little bit higher level picture, or are you still looking for specific updates on like all 30 or 50 activities?
Kurt, I think if I'm understanding correctly, are you talking about like on your work plan, like if you had, like 10 for like low income or something, are you talking about reporting those numbers on here?
No, I'm talking more like if our strategy was to engage 20 businesses over the next 18 months, last time you'd report on that activity every time, whether you engaged 15 businesses or whether you engage 0 businesses, you'd still like report on that each time. So here, would we just be reporting the most relevant activities for that quarter, or would you want like an update on each specific strategy, whether or not it applied?
I think it would just be on whatever applied to that quarter that we're reporting on, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah, so a better example might have been like enroll apprentices in training. So there might be a quarter where there's not an enrollment for training, they're just continuing the training they were enrolled in last quarter.
Right.
So then before we'd report that we know apprentices were enrolled this quarter.
Yeah, I would think that we would want to do it the same way that you guys have been doing it. Would you write that in the narrative before?
I don't, I'm a little confused because I don't think before we had like, I guess that was the narrative, was just, it broke it down like item by item for us.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not sure how it was reported before, so I can figure out that answer for you, and I can get back to you, and I can send out an email.
Do you want to
Okay.
send that email to everyone, Chase, so that they're
Yeah.
all,
Yeah, and I can send that, or even get the answer, and we can talk about it on the next call, so we have like kind of an idea about it too next week.
all right. Okay, so my thought is for this particular quarter, since we don't have the Navigator tools released, you would more than likely report the same way that you did for December quarter end. And then we'll have the Navigator tools released by next quarter reporting. So if it's Navigator activities, it would be done through the system. Kathy, you're looking confused.
Sort of am. So I'm trying to separate the difference between the 2019 grant and the 2021. And I thought these were for 2021. But if we did a report in December, then that would be for 2019. That's where my quizzical look comes from.
Yes, yes, December's report would have been for 2019 grants. So this quarter reporting could be for either, actually.
Okay, so this quarter for 2021 should be done the same way 2019 December. Is that what I'm hearing?
Since we don't have the Navigator
Okay, I
tools
just-
ready to go,
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I heard, just making sure.
yeah. And then I checked with Cody and he's going to work on getting, I've got to click on my tab so I don't lose my, so I don't get logged out. He's going to update the list here to add the performance report and the fiscal report options on here so that you can pick those. I don't know if he'll have it done today, but he should have that done by the end of the week because that's just a simple data entry piece to fix.
Oh, but we're still sending it via email as we did in December. Yes,
Chase, what did you put in your?
No. My understanding is it's all going to be submitted for 21 is going to be submitted through workNet.
okay, thank you. So 21 through workNet and 2019, the way we've always done it.
Yes, correct.
You know, Kathy, I think I just upload both of them because then you don't have to worry about the email going through. But make sure that you label them appropriately.
Okay.
I'm just checking an email real quick. I think the 2019s are going to be how you've been submitting them. I believe it's to Lorraine, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, just continue to do the 2019s exactly how you have been.
Okay.
Okay, because she just asked John that the other day and she wanted to double check it. So I had an email with that, and that was my understanding is that, yeah, they're just going to continue to be the exact same way for the 2019.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions that we can answer for you?
Good
So
afternoon, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I think I cut somebody off. Cheryl Morris from Uchi. I just have a quick question regarding success stories. So we have an apprentice that completed in, believe it was September of last year, but she just got a promotion on her job as a result of completing our program. And I'm wondering, can we use that as a part of our success stories that we want to submit?
Sounds like a good one to me, but
Yeah, I thought it was. I just, I just want to make sure that it's a viable thing.
Lorraine or Chase, do you have any input on that?
No, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a good one to me. If you have any questions about success stories or anything, please feel free to just kind of like send me an email about what's going on, and then I can forward them on to other people and make sure that it is one we can report to.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's good. That's
All
awesome.
right.
Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a great one to me.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Victoria, what was your question?
so I actually had a question regarding the quarterly report, the spreadsheet. So my question was regarding supported services. Since for our program, we do work with the WIOA program, the grant as well. So I just wanted to ask, since we do assist our individual with barrier reduction funds that we have, I don't want to double dip for our program report. So that's why I wanted to reach out.
I think they encourage leveraged funds, which is what that would be.
Okay.
But then how do you actually report it? Is it for the 2021 grant?
Correct.
Chase?
Someone's been asking about that. I think that's kind of like a case by case thing. And yeah, we do always encourage the the leveraging, but yeah, it just kind of depends on how it's going to go. So if you kind of want to send me an email about that, and then I can ask John about it too.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
All right, and then the other thing that you were going to check on Chase, because I'm making items for tomorrow's call.
Well, I'm sorry, what was that, D?
There was another question from our audience today.
Oh yeah, it was Kurt's question about what to add into the narrative of what to add in the narrative as far as like if we're going to do it, break it out by like just what's going on that quarter, or if it's going to be like a running thing. And correct me if I'm wrong on it, but it's going to be, or if it's going to be kind of like a running narrative of like what you put in what you were going to do for that quarter, correct?
Yes.
And then the other question was to report navigator items as an intermediary. So that one was from JJ. This one was from Kurt. And this one was from Victoria. All right, Kurt, what agency are you with?
Heartland Community College.
I'm sorry, which one?
Heartland Community
Heartland,
College.
okay. Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions? This is your time to shine. Everybody knows how to add a customer. Everybody knows how to add appointments if you take intake appointments at all.
I do have a question.
Sure.
This is Emily with Mantracon. So do we, I know on the 2019 grant, and I came in at the end of that, so we did the reporting on the actual Excel spreadsheets. So I'm looking at my work plans for the 2021. Is that where the reporting's done for the actual new apprentices and the businesses that we touched? I just don't see where that's done at for the new grant on the Excel spreadsheet.
Chase?
Yeah, sorry, I was responding to a message in chat. Emily, let's say that thing again about the spreadsheet.
So for the 2019 grant, which I had to do reporting on that also for the quarter ending. So I did that in the spreadsheet. It has a place where you can, or sorry, in the work plan spreadsheet, I guess, maybe if I'm not calling it correctly. I don't see in the new 2021 work plans where there's a place to report. Does anybody understand what I'm saying?
Are you talking like reporting the number? I think this is what I thought Kurt was asking earlier. Like if
report the number of new apprentices, because I know in the navigator tools, we can, in Illinois or IWIS, we cannot report that information in there yet. Is that correct?
Correct.
So where do we report it at? I'm not seeing anything. I know before it was on our work plans, from my understanding, for the 2019 grant. We had submitted those spreadsheets with that data. Where do we submit these now?
Emily, you're with Mantracon?
Correct.
So they have both an intermediary and a navigator grant.
Correct. Yes.
Where are we entering our, I mean, I know it's eventually going to be in IWIS and our apprentices will show up in there for our reporting, but it's not going to happen for this quarterly reporting. Am I correct? Or is it? So my question is, we are a navigator. So besides the narrative, what other reporting do we have to enter? Maybe I'm not asking the question correctly. That's not automatically going to calculate for us.
So in that narrative, yeah, you'll write what's required in there, and then as far as like what else are you reporting, and that would be in and I don't know with navigators if it's a little different, but that would be on the actual like PFR and PPR that is going to be uploaded. That would be, and then the trial balance, is that what you're talking about too?
No, our fiscal department does that piece.
Okay.
Hey, Erica, do you happen to have your screen up still? Sorry, Erica's our intermediary and we are just looking at it and you're on mute. Are you able?
I heard her through your microphone.
So we are just looking at it and it's all grayed out what I'm talking about. So where do we report that information if it's all grayed out currently? Erica, can you share your screen? Or?
No, she can't yet. She can now.
Maybe that will be helpful if we look at it.
There we go.
We don't see you yet, Erica. Oh.
Okay, this page is fed from information entered into the system. You don't put anything in here. So these fields will come from the navigator information as you are able to enter it.
And I guess I don't know where we're entering that information. Because at this point, we've entered our apprentices, but nowhere in this system have I entered in number of businesses engaged.
Right, because it's not, wait, who's sharing their screen right now?
Erica, she's our
Erica.
intermediary.
So if you click on outreach events, that tab probably, you could potentially add an outreach event. You could potentially add an organization information, but because of our link with D&B, we don't really want you to enter that information yet because we want to grab the actual organization information that D&B will provide. Dun & Bradstreet. So once the information is entered in here, if you go back to that overview tab, Erica, those items will fill those fields.
Okay, so that's something on the back end that's just not complete yet. So we're not entering anything here.
You're not entering anything on this page.
Okay. So then besides the narrative, what else is there to do on this end?
I don't think anything yet. We'll have
Okay.
this available for next quarter.
Okay.
So Chase, the question becomes, where would you like them to put the items that they're reporting that will be entered at a later point in time for each of these fields that are showing on here? Do you want them to add that as like bullet points on the narrative?
We can talk about it on the call tomorrow, but my understanding is just kind of keep like a personal, like just just keep track of it on your own, and then we'll enter it whenever it's available. That's kind of been my understanding with it, but I'm going to double check with Patrick, but I think that was that has been kind of what I've understood from it.
Okay. Leah, you said no. Can you go over both of those, please? I don't remember what I said to ask you to type, that caused you to type that. I think I mentioned appointments for intake, but we don't have referrals happening yet, so you wouldn't have to know about that. And I honestly don't remember what the second point was. So then if you can remember, Leah, type it in there. And Victoria asked again, can you please provide clarification regarding the difference between reportable individual and individuals from the quarterly report spreadsheet? Is that in the PPR or the PFR?
It is under the PPR.
Under the PPR, okay. Well, let me take a look at that and I will let you know here in just a second.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
The call tomorrow is for the admin team. So Chase, Lorraine, me, Patrick, the programmer. So that's our weekly admin team call. And I guess I could sing and dance while Chase is looking that up. But I don't know.
I have one quick follow-up question, Victoria. Where at on the PPR are you talking about exactly?
So if you go under projected service levels, section 1, it has participants and then reportable individuals. So I don't want a clarification regarding those two. Would it be the exact same across the board or are there different sections? That's why I don't want a clarification.
Okay, I'm still not seeing on the PPR what we're talking about here. I'm sorry.
No, no worries.
Victoria, why don't you try and share your screen? I'll
Okay.
stop.
So just right here, this section, and let me know if you can see it. Right here, the participants and then reportable individuals.
Okay, you're talking about on the work on the you're talking about on the work plan then.
Yes, sorry about that.
Okay, no, that's okay. So we're actually not going to be using these anymore at all for the 2021s.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to be using the spreadsheet. It's all going to be through workNet for the 21 grants.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Sorry about
No, no worries. I'm happy to know now than later.
that.
So but those people are entered based upon what you are entering into the intermediary test, the case managed customers
Okay.
in the system.
Management. Got it. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you, Dee, for clearing that part up too.
Makes it easier sometimes when you can see what people are talking about.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? What is their timeline for getting the narrative in, Chase?
I believe it is May 2nd.
Oh, that's good because the 1st is a Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's May 2nd.
Deborah Whiteacre is asking what backup gets submitted with the PPR backup, or is the PPR PDF the only performance to be reported for the 21 grant?
If I'm understanding correctly, I think that also be with the PPR, it's also the backup is the trial balance. Is that answer it, Deborah?
This is me. Trial balance is normally with the PFR. So that's why I wasn't for sure if,
Oh, I'm sorry, you said the PPR.
yes.
No, I don't believe there's any backup that comes along with the PPR. I think that's just
Okay.
filling out that sheet. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so basically there's the PPR PDF, then there's the PFR PDF, and then the PFR backup.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, it's those three
Perfect.
things that'll get submitted.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I apologize. Dee, can you walk back through how we get to this exact screen to submit the quarterly reports?
If you go to your group tab, if you go to your groups tab and search apprenticeship, it might be on your main screen, but I've got a whole boatload of groups. You click on the group and it should be in a tab right up here at the top of your list of customers. And then you click on that work plan and reports, click on the report. And then it's at the bottom. Did you get there?
No.
Well,
How do
I
I-
have
how do
this,
I find the
I am
original group
recording,
tab?
I am recording this, and I believe it was included in the instructions. So if you review the instructions and watch the recording, we talked about this early in the recording, so you don't have to wait till all the way now to get here for this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Oh, hang on. So, whoops, where did it go? Danielle Kuglin, did we get your question answered? Yes, we did. Okay.
Yes, I just want to make sure I was kind of synthesizing it to what you just said, the quarterly narrative update. Then we attach those three documents, the PFR, the PPR, and the backup PPR. And then we either approve or save. I have to look for that in the work plan, but we hit approve or save at that point, and then everything's submitted on our end and everything is in for Q1.
So when you do the narrative, you just click save. When you do the upload, you select your spot. Select what it is that you're going to upload, choose the file, write a description, and then click upload. And all of those items will be listed in there.
Awesome, thank you. Do we need to then like say everything's in, or once everything's been uploaded and saved, then we're good?
Chase, what do you want them to do?
Yeah, I've kind of been thinking about what the best way is, and I guess just shooting me an email, just tell me that everything's uploaded would probably be the easiest way. Because I mean, I'll be checking it, but I also don't want to like wait a day and, you know, it happens to be like the last day when they're supposed to be due, which I mean, I would definitely check by then, but I think it might just be easier just to get an email just saying everything's submitted on WorkNet.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I guess while we're talking about that, in that email I sent you, just make sure that you are saving the files like the way that I put in that email. So it's your grant number and then the PPR, PFR, or trial balance, or whatever the case may be. And then also the quarter that it's going to be on, just so that we can keep a track in WorkNet. And I think that'll also be easier for you guys when you're submitting them too.
And are they
That was
naming
it.
it? Are they naming it quarter like March 31, or are
So-
they numbering them?
So to make it easiest, I just did 1/1/22 to 3/31/22.
Okay. And Leah's asking, do navigators fill and submit quarterly reports?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I had one more question as well. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I have and full disclosure, I'm very new to everyone, just so you know. So I'm not quite sure 100% the process of everything. I mean, other than going through the instructions online, but when I go to Apprenticeship Illinois, one of my customers just pops up and it says that she's not placed. I'm not quite sure exactly what to do or where to go from there.
We can look at that as soon as I end the recording.
Okay. And Dee, I was gonna say I might have to get together with you just to ask you a few additional questions.
Sure.
Hey, Chase, I've got one more quick question about the supporting documentation.
Sure.
I'm used to submitting the quarterly reports for the other grants like formula and all that. And so I'm used to seeing there's the PPR and PFR PDF, and then you have to separately submit the supporting documentation. For the PFR with the trial balance backup information, is that all in one file, or does that need to be separated out like we do with other grants?
That will need to be separated out. So yeah, everyone should be submitting 3 separate things: the PFR, the PPR, and then the trial balance.
Okay. Okay,
Yep, good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to end the recording and answer Leah's question. Thank you for attending today. I will post the recording as soon as I can, hopefully today. And then join us next week with further questions, and we will supply some clarification to the questions that were asked today. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, so